Nikitin getting some maintenance. We don't have to. We'll see how that goes. Just had a little flare up, and possibly be ready for tonight. Congratulations to Ben Scribbins, second star of the week. We're always proud when one of our players is recognized for his good play. And we ready ourselves for the best team in the league right now. Montreal is extremely strong, a team that was 2 wins away from going to the Stanley Cup final. So we've got a big task on our hands against the class of the league right now, and we're doing our best to be prepared for that battle.
When you watch them, Dallas, what is it right now they're doing well that you as a team have to concern yourself?
Transition. They are as good a team in the league at transitioning the puck. So we have to do 2 things very, very well. Number one is manage it. And is there going to be turnovers tonight? Absolutely. If you're a team that's just going to come up and get the red line and dump it in, you're not going to do very well in this league. So we want our players to recognize when it's time to go for the attack and when it's time to live for another day and place that puck in behind their D. Now that being said, if there is a turnover or a bobble puck or whatever it is, we've got to react very quickly to get back on the right side of it. It's the 3-second rule, basically. If you can't get your defense in line within 3 seconds, something's coming back on you. The other thing that's impressive with Montreal is their tenacity in the red zone. When pucks go to the net, they're not a huge team, but it's like they're a bunch of wild dogs. Somebody threw a piece of meat in there, and they're in there scrapping for those pucks, and it's impressive because they're fearless with their size, and it just goes to show you don't have to be big to play the game. You've just got to have a little bit of courage and a little bit of confidence. So those are the things we really want to key on, is our puck management and getting those dogs out of the red zone.
Dallas, is there any debate that Leon Draisaitl will be here beyond that game, or is that something you guys will maybe still be confident?
No, we're still talking about it. You guys have fun with the debate. But yeah, there's we don't need to make the decision yet. We still have time.
Saying that, does this game put a little extra pressure on him? Not just because he's playing the best team in the league, but because it is his 9th game.
Yeah, I'm sure he's thinking about it. We don't want him thinking about it. Whether he's in this league or another league, he's going to have the challenge every night of playing well, and with games hanging over your head, whether it's this deadline or another one, or it's a big game to make the playoffs, whatever it is, your challenge is to play well, and that's the challenge for the player. You're always going to meet different challenges along the way, and you have to learn to embrace it and not let it affect your game.
What's your sense of his ability to withstand the ups and downs that can come with being a youngster in the NHL, maybe going a little while without producing, or his confidence coming or going? What's your sense of his mental ability to handle it?
No, I think it's excellent. He's much more mature than his birth year. He's been very well brought up by his parents. He's a real confident kid, but not cocky. He's a student. He's in every time I walk by the computers in there, he's looking at his shifts, or he's looking at another player's shifts that a player that he admires. So he's always looking to get better. He keeps showing flashes. I think after he scored the goal the other night, the shift after that was, listen, the goal was great and all that, but that shift after he scored showed us that he can play at the pace and drive the pace, and that's just something that would have to come more consistently.
Dallas, looking ahead to tonight, what is this game like for you behind the bench when you look at how deep this team is? I think Therrien hasn't been afraid to put the fourth line out against the opposing team's first line, and he's pretty effective in that face-off. What's it like for you managing or trying to match or anything like that?
Well, it's like any other game. When we play LA, they're deep. Geez, almost every team's deep unless they've been decimated with injuries. You know, like the Habs, we're able to do the same. We don't hesitate to put out Gordo's line against another team's top line as well. So Montreal's a dangerous team. They're not in first place by accident, and they weren't 2 wins from going to the Stanley Cup by accident either. And again, where we're at in our process is not where they're at, but it's a good night for us to measure ourselves against the top team in the league.
One of those wild dogs, Gallagher.
Every guy has his own game, and I think you have to always be very careful of, you know, pushing it too far with guys' personalities. And you know, would you love everybody to work as hard as Matt Hendricks? Absolutely. And I think our guys do all work that hard. Now, do they all have the same kind of you know, tenacity and that meanness in their game, somewhat to what the player you're talking about? Well, maybe no, but that's not part of their personality. And a lot of times the thing you can really run into problems with is pushing it too far where you take the player out of their game. And I've experienced that before. And I equate it to taking a player who would maybe score a handful of goals a season and call them in the offense, go, hey, we need 30 goals this year. It's not going to happen. We want our guys to work hard. We want to be on the puck. We want to be tenacious. Some guys, like a Matt Hendricks, just has that little bit extra. But that Gallagher kid, he comes to play. He drove me crazy when he was in Hamilton, so I'm not real happy to see him here again tonight.
Now, what have you seen from Jeff Petrie in the last 3 games in particular?
I think he's been steady. You know, Petey's one of those guys. He just goes about his business quietly, and he's always looking to improve. He's a guy that we've relied on to, you know, look after, you know, the other team's kind of top 6 forwards on a nightly basis, and that's not an easy thing in this league. And you know, like all of our defense and all of our players, we're always looking for that extra little bit of battle in our zone, especially. But I think Petey's he continues to learn when to take the open ice when he sees it, because he can skate. He's continuing to work on making that real simple play. The first play that you see is usually the best one, and not complicating it. And he's continuing to grow as a player. He's right at that kind of time where you can really flourish as a defenseman, where his age is.